This is Chapter 3, Section 1 Notes. We're going to start with inequality. So we're going to start with the inequality symbols for this chapter. This symbol is a less than sign. It's also called fewer than. This symbol is called a greater than sign or more than. When you put the line under them, this ends up being less than or equal to, is at most, is no more than. The greater than sign with the line under to is greater than or equal to, is at least, is no less than. So we're going to start by translating. So all real numbers x less than or equal to, so we're going to use the less than or equal to, -7. So that's just x is less than or equal to -7. Number 2 says, is the number of solution of 2x plus 1 is greater than -3. So not equal to, but has to be greater than. And they want to know for x being -3, -1, and 0. So we're going to take this first part, and I'm going to first plug in -3. So 2 times -3 plus 1, is that greater than -3? So 2 times -3 is -6. So -6 plus 1 is -5. Is -5 greater than -3? The answer for this is no, it is not. So I'm going to follow those same steps, and I'm going to plug in -1. So 2 times -1 is -2. So -2 plus 1 is going to be -1. Is -1 greater than -3? Yes, it is. It's less negative, so it would be bigger than. The last one I'm going to plug in is 0. So 2 times 0 plus 1, is that bigger than -3? 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Is 1 bigger than -3? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's how you solve just by plugging in. So part B here is again translating. 6 less than a number k is greater than 13. So 6 less than, remember from the very first section, less than is going to be a minus, and then you have to flip the order. So the k is actually going to come before the 6. So k minus 6. How I know the difference between less than and is less than or is greater than is that is. That's why it's circled here. So this is going to be the symbol greater than. Okay, so I'll have k minus 6 is greater than 13. So that's how I translate that. So that is my clue that it's going to be my operation, my inequality symbol, not a subtraction or an addition. Okay, next up we're going to be graphing, which you guys have actually done in the past. So n is less than 1. I'm going to find where 1 is, and because there's no line underneath it, I'm going to put an open circle around that 1. And then because it's less than, I'm going to go ahead and point it to the numbers that are less than 1. The next one is f is greater than -3. Again, no line under it, so it's going to be an open dot at that -3, and it's going to be pointed towards the numbers that are greater than -3. This next one, a is greater than or equal to 0. So because there is a line under it, I'm going to start with a solid dot at 0, and then my arrow should be pointing at the numbers that are greater than 0. This next one is -2 is greater than or equal to x. So I'm actually going to flip this around. I want my x to come first, my letter to come first, and all that does is it flips the sign from a greater than or equal to a less than or equal to. So x is less than or equal to -2. So I'm going to start at -2 and put a solid dot there for the equal to, and then this also shows me which way my arrow should go, which is really nice. So it should go to the left, or to the smaller less than numbers. So the next one says, what is the graph of 2 is greater than or equal to a? Again, I'm going to flip the order. So I'm going to make it a is less than or equal to 2. Now I have to make my own number line, which is not a big deal. Just make a line, put some numbers on it. Now make sure you have the numbers that are actually in your problem. So 2 is an important number to have. And I'm going to put a closed dot there because there's a line underneath, and then my arrow is going to go to the less than numbers, or the smaller numbers than 2. Okay, writing an inequality from a graph. So this graph starts at 0. That's where the dot is. So my number I know is going to be 0. And it's pointing to the left. And so it's going to be a less than. And it's an open dot, so there's no line underneath it. So that'll just be x is less than 0. And this next one is a closed dot at 8. So there should be a line underneath and an 8. And it's going, the arrow is pointing to the greater than number, so it should be a greater than sign. So x is greater than or equal to 8 would be my equation. Number 5, describing real-world inequalities. So there's this advertisement for an iPhone 5. It says from $699. That means that the price is just starting at $699. So if I'm buying this phone, the phone is going to cost $699 or more. So it's going to be greater than or equal to $699. You can also write it as 699 is less than or equal to x. I prefer to have my letter first always. So the phone is greater than or equal to $699. Part B is the speed limit. So you have a speed limit of 15. So your speed should be greater than or less than 15. Well, should be less than 15. Can it be equal to 15? Yes. So your inequality would be S, your speed, is less than or equal to 15 miles per hour.